for today, we will be going as usual in a two-part process, which includes the initial meditation we do with the affirmations, as well as then going into a further topic. Now, today's topic will be about enhancing creativity with the tool of meditation. So how these two can contribute to a synthesis and a synergy of both meditation and creativity. Now, for those of you who are new to Sahaja Yoga and to We Meditate, what we do is a spontaneous, simple and straightforward meditation that does not require excess stress or physical effort, but only requires you to be comfortable with yourself. It requires you to tap into a space of peace within yourself, a state of thoughtless awareness, where you go beyond the chain of thoughts, where you go into a state where you can find equilibrium, balance, and nourish peace both within yourself and radiate it to others in your surrounding. Now, what we do is a simple meditation where we just put our hands on specific parts of the body, but essentially what we work with is our attention. Now, for you who were with us last Thursday with Bernard's meditation on attention, what he probably talked about was how meditation is very important in keeping the meditation both sustainable and sustained. So having that attention inside without it escaping outside into your surroundings, and how our attention can also affect our day-to-day life. Now, as you might know, but it's always good to recap, Sahaja Yoga meditation is based on also a subtle system working within us. It is a system based upon 3 energy channels, the left, the right and the center, which is analogous to the accelerator and brake of a car. In addition to that, we have 7 chakras overlaid on each other that are sequential as they rise up the spine, beginning at the base of the spine and running up all the way to the top of the head. Now, with this meditation, what we try to do is we enhance this meditation by tapping into a dormant energy that is located at the base of our spine, also known as the Kundalini. Now, this is old news for all of you, but new news for the people who could be here for the first time. Now, when we meditate, this Kundalini is engaged within us, and as she rises, she comes into contact with each specific chakra, and she tries to correct them and bring them into balance. Now, bringing them into balance and through the middle creates a harmony with the rest of the system, allowing the Kundalini to build itself on a stable foundation as it reaches ever higher and ever subtle states of awareness to the top of the head. Now, when it reaches and pierces the 7th chakra, or also known as the crown chakra on the top of the head, it reaches into a state, as I mentioned earlier, known as thoughtless awareness. It is also the place where the yoga happens. Yoga meaning the connection and union with that which is within and that which is without. It is the true connection to our self. Thus, it's called self-realization as well. Now, with this meditation, you gain a better understanding of how you operate. You gain a tool set with which to work out your own balance. You're able to identify any obstacles and obstructions with the power of this meditation. Now, those of you who've been with us before know that there are subtle sensitivities that are developed week by week, meditation by meditation, as you develop this tool set with which you work with. Know thyself, as the old maxim, wise maxim, still goes. Now, for today, we will be going on to creativity. Now, I'll introduce just a bit of creativity and how it's associated with the 2nd chakra of our body, also known as the Swadhisthana. Now, if you're not sure how the subtle system works, or if you're unfamiliar with a chakra system, I highly recommend that you go check out We Meditate's information. It's a treasure trove of information, diagrams, and a visual guide on the subtle system if you are a bit confused on how this innate and internal map works. You can find that at wemeditate.co. Short plug. Going back to the work. Now, creativity is essentially a function and a quality that is worked through our second chakra, our Swadhisthana. Now, each chakra has and comes with a set of innate qualities that can be enhanced and amplified by working and clearing that specific chakra. Now, most people come with different potentialities with each chakra. Some chakras are weaker, some chakras are stronger. These are very much to do based upon our day-to-day behavior and whether or not we use these chakras to begin with. Now, the Swadhisthana chakra is very much linked to action, to doing things, not just sitting around, but actually the physical, very physical movement of just going and doing things. Now, it is juxtaposed to the left channel, which is very much the stasis, or very much the brake of our body. Right side's the accelerator, left side's the brake. Now, it's important to make a small, subtle distinction in this regard. That being the first chakra of our body, the Muladhara, is the root of the left channel. It runs up from the Muladhara up to the superego. Now, the Swadhisthana is the root of our right channel of action, and it runs from the second channel all the way to our head, to the ego. So we have these two institutions that are created with the dialogue and the interaction between these two channels within our body. And it is up to us and up to our meditation to bring these two into unison so that they can work in harmony and ascend through the middle channel. That's when your emotion and your motion are balanced. Good. So, to go a bit more further into the Swadhisthana, so the Swadhisthana circulates around the tummy. So essentially it is a chakra which surprisingly is very, as it betrays, since it is the root of the right hand side, it is action. So there is a constant movement and oscillation happening in this specific chakra as it rotates around the third chakra, that being the Nabi. So there is a constant movement to this chakra, and the diameter it creates in its movement connected to the Nabi chakra. This creates the material space of the Bhavasagara. That's where creativity actions. And the Swadhisthana has essentially 6 petals to it. And these 6 petals then emanate in different types of creative modalities that we can then employ in our day-to-day life. Now, when we talk about creativity, it's easy to see a perhaps limited view of what it could be. That being, of course, the arts, dance, music, poetry, writing, and the other side of that is that creativity is also present in any day-to-day life. It can also be present as a problem-solving attitude. It's also present in our ability to think and plan into the future and use the capacity of our intellect to create a structure for us within which to work with planning. So it's very much that future envisioning, very much that action, very much that doing. But what I wanted to really tone down today, just focus on a small aspect of the Swadhisthana, which is enhancing your own creativity. Because there's a lot of things we can talk about, but I'll just talk about one thing, which is really tapping into that creative essence within your being. The Swadhisthana is represented with the color yellow. Now, as we know about the visible spectrum of colors, visible spectrum we see, it starts with red and progressively goes from a hue of orange and then to the yellow, yellow being the second kind of discernible color that you can see in the visible spectrum. Now, essentially, there is a curious relationship between these two, that being that the Muladhara is the color red, usually. Now, the color red informs the progression and the sequence that goes to the Swadhisthana. Now, what this means in simple terms is that our desires inform our actions. Our intentions inform where our attention goes to, right? So there is a communication between these two. Therefore, the Muladhara is especially important in keeping that in balance as a foundation for then a sustained creation working with the Swadhisthana. When you have a stable Muladhara, it informs the Swadhisthana and keeps it in balance as it oscillates and moves around the Nabi. So, the step number one in enhancing your creative potential is checking that your Muladhara is in a stable state where you have that gravity point from with which you can focus on any creative endeavor that you uptake. Now, the Swadhisthana, as it is informed by the Muladhara, it is also linked to the attention, which Bernard talked about on Thursday. Now, we can think about it in a few different ways. There's a limited capacity we have in doing things on a day-to-day basis. This is of course limited by such factors as time, but it's also limited by, of course, the personal energy we have. So each day we have this kind of store of energy and we funnel it into different activities depending on where our attention goes. Now, relationship with creative action, meditation, is that when you're able to work more with your attention and when you can guide your attention in a more constructive manner, you can then guide your attention onto things that bring you joy, things that fulfill you, that nourish you and nourish others. Now, with meditation, when you know more about yourself, when you bring your attention to that better understanding of yourself, the more you can create works, the more you can bring forth things, be it art, be it how you talk to other people, be it any problem-solving tasks you uptake. You can make it in a fashion that is compassionate and creative. And more importantly, it also communicates the emotions. It's in a way a conveyance or a vehicle for your self-expression to the world outside. In a simple way to look at the symmetry of what's created in artworks is that, as I said before, it starts with the desire on the left side, the emotion. It goes through the funnel of the right-hand side, which is the expression, which is the motion. And now that motion can be any medium that you partake to choose in. As I mentioned, there's varieties of different kinds. But then the end result is that this emotion is translated through that medium and then brought back as emotion. So we have emotion, motion, and then emotion again. So essentially, that's what you want to do when you uptake a creative endeavor. It's to touch people. It's to strike a chord within them that resonates. It is the emotional faculty that usually registers something beautiful, something that's full of art. Now, that's the beautiful thing about art and creativity, is that it has the power to draw our attention to specific areas. It's a vehicle also for our emotion and our attention together to move into a dimension that we haven't really experienced before. It's a new way of seeing the world, a new lens, so to say. And that's why the most fascinating and beautiful works of art that intrigue generations upon generations of human beings is that they guide our attention to a place of joy. They guide us to a state of thoughtless awareness. Why? Because most of these artists have imbued their artwork with that guiding light of the self, with that guiding light of what I've talked about already quite a few weeks back, about vibrations, why some artwork have a higher vibrational potentiality than others. It's because your emotions are able to imbue that artwork with a certain sensitivity and subtlety that can really permeate a person's attention and elevate them at the same time. Uplifts. It takes that person and draws their attention onto matters that are beautiful and astounding. And of course, art can also take you in the complete other direction. That's why it's important to have your Muladhara stable before you enable your Swadhisthana to work in creative actions. So keeping those two initial chakras in balance. Now, I think that was quite enough of talking here to begin with. And if you have any further questions related to the Swadhisthana, you can always check, as I said, our website, and you can send us a message on Facebook, Instagram, or any other medium. I'm sure there's email as well somewhere. So if you have questions, let us know. But for today, we'll be doing a short meditation. The second part of meditation will focus on enabling this creativity within yourself so that you can express that understanding of the spirit. And the understanding of the spirit comes in the threefold format of truth, awareness, and bliss. Essentially, it's compassion. And compassion is something that we need now more than ever in and looking at the global situation around the world. So, without further ado, let's get to the initial meditation and then go into the second part with a focus on the Swadhisthana. Alright? So, assume a comfortable position wherever you are. I have to also decelerate myself sometimes. So thank you for sticking around, and I might talk too fast. So always ask any questions afterwards if things might fly over people's heads. Hopefully they don't. Now, let's assume a comfortable position. Check that you're not sitting either too upright and too tight, but you're sitting in a comfortable way, because this meditation, Sahaja Yoga meditation, it's all to do with, well, not all comfort, but in a place that is enjoyable, that you can sit in this position for, the 20-25 minutes we'll be having our meditation for. So you can open both of your hands on your lap, palms open, facing upwards. You might not see them because the camera is cutting them out, but just like this. And before we close our eyes, for the people here for the first time, we'll be following this sequence of patterns in the initial meditation. We'll have our hand and guide our attention to the left side of our chest, going down to the left side of our stomach, then to our waist, bringing it back up to the heart, left side of our throat, forehead, and top of the head. And now I ask that for this duration of the meditation that you keep your eyes closed and only focus on bringing that attention inside. Great? So, we can start by placing that hand, our right hand, on the left side of the chest. You can close your eyes and you can breathe in nice and deep and slow through your nose and exhale out of your mouth. Breathe in through the nose, in your own time, and out through the mouth. So we start with the heart, which is also the seat of our self. And that's the first connection we make in meditation. By enhancing our understanding of the self, we create an outlet for compassion to channel into our being and into our day-to-day life. But to understand ourselves, we first have to ask a simple question, which has been asked for many millennia before, and to which everybody has to find the answer themselves. But we're here today to help you on your way. So we start with the question, who am I? Who am I? There's many identities, relationships that we can consider as constituents of what makes up the self. But the self, if there's one thing that distinguishes it above the rest, is that it's eternal and it's beyond the transformation. It's beyond the soil, slander of life. It's a spark within our being that informs our consciousness, that gives us awareness and supports us throughout. We can put our hand down to our navel, stomach, and here we can ask the question, am I my own teacher? Am I the master of myself? Moving the hand down to the waist on its left side, we access the power of the Kundalini, of that dormant maternal and internal energy at the base of our spine. And with all humility and a genuine desire to ascend and to understand, we ask for that knowledge. We ask for the pure knowledge that can be granted to us, that we all hold and behold within ourselves. So we affirm, Kundalini, please give me the pure knowledge. Raising our hand back up to that stomach area on the left hand side. We assume and affirm with all confidence, I am my own master. I am the master of myself. Moving our hand to the heart, we affirm, I am my true self. I am the Spirit. I am the true self. I am the Spirit. Moving up to the left side of our throat, we can slightly move our head to the right, opening up the space between the nape of our neck and our shoulder. And as the saying goes, responsibility weighs down on our shoulders, and any mistakes, errors we have done, we might carry them as luggage on this subtle center of our body. And it's important for us to confront and face any errors we have made, learn from them, and then partake away from them. To let go and go forwards again. Now this baggage is manifested usually as guilt, whether unconscious or conscious, that lingers at the fringes of our awareness, and sometimes it takes extra attention to confront these as they work in a subtle manner. So what we say to get rid of them today is, I am not guilty. I am not guilty at all. We affirm, I am not guilty. I am not guilty at all. And once more, I am not guilty. I am not guilty at all. Moving to the forehead, we can rest the palm across the forehead and slightly tilt our neck downwards. And the sixth chakra that's located here is the center of our thoughts, where the ego and the superego reside. And our aim is to subside their influence, to draw these two powers into unison, and to create an opening in between the fluctuation of thoughts, so that we can access that space beyond our thoughts, in the realm of thoughtlessness and formlessness. And the key for the door is forgiveness. Forgiveness of both yourself and of others' actions. because it is so easy to become entangled into worldly affairs, be it our own cares or the care created by others, as they wear and tear us down slowly. But when we forgive, we transcend and go beyond. When we forgive, we tap into that well of compassion that is infinite within us. So we can affirm, I am not guilty. Actually, I forgive everyone, and I forgive myself. I forgive everyone, and I forgive myself. Without letting your attention rest on a specific event or a particular person, we can reaffirm, I forgive myself, and I forgive everyone. Moving our hand to the top of our head, we can slightly rotate our scalp. And over here we can ask for that connection. Here we ask for that yoga. Here we ask for that sense of self, for our self-realization. So we affirm, Kundalini, please give us our self-realization. Please deepen our meditation. Kundalini, please give us our self-realization. Please deepen our meditation. And for just a short moment, we can sit silently. You can rest your right hand back down on your lap. If you can, leave your attention to linger on the top of your head. If it moves around, you can be still it and keep it calm by focusing on your breath. But for a couple of minutes, let's try to expand and extend that silence within. Let's focus now on the Swadhisthana chakra. We can keep our eyes closed and place our right hand just below the belly button. I have had the luck to talk with many different artists from a variety of different fields. And often what I hear is that when I create, I meditate. For them, that act of creation in itself is an act of meditation. As their attention becomes one-pointed, and they tap into what's often called the flow of things. Any idea of time runs out of the window as you focus yourself on just that one matter. And in truth, that is a form of meditation, where you're devoted to a single idea, a single purpose, and a single goal. It's when both your intention, your left side, is in balance with your attention, your right side. And when these two are in harmony, then you can be that creative power. You can rise and ascend in the middle channel and create works of stupendously beautiful art that will hopefully impart on others a sense of stillness, a sense of peace, and a sense of beauty. But by keeping our hand right below the belly button, we can focus that attention on the Swadhisthana chakra. We can focus our attention on enhancing and amplifying its qualities of creation, of our qualities of self-expression in any medium that we choose to do it in. We can ask the Kundalini, Kundalini, please develop my creative potential. Please develop my self-expression. Please bring the self into my attention. Because when the self is the target and the goal of your expression, then you can create wonders in the world of art. Because when you begin your art with love and end with love, when you share that compassion and understanding, then it creates a feedback loop that nourishes all. It creates a bridge and it creates a unity between you and me. And that's why art is part and parcel of our culture as that conveyance and vehicle for our emotion to be expressed. But let that expression always have the self as its beginning and as its end. So we can once again affirm, Kundalini, please make me a creative person. Kundalini, please cultivate my compassion. Kundalini, please keep my attention always on the self. We can rest our right hand back on our lap and a few more minutes sit in silence. We can slowly open our eyes, and usually at the beginning and at the end of our meditation, we do a movement with our hands that's called raising the Kundalini, where we keep our left hand open like so, and we rotate the right hand around, or left, bring it up, and we tie it once. We repeat the movement again, keeping our eye on the moving hands, and tie 2 knots above the head, and once more, we tie it thrice above the head. This is to indicate the stability of the 3 channels, and its goal and target to remain and keep our attention above the head. Then we also do 7 semicircular movements around the body like so. That's 1, and we repeat it for 7 times. And this brings our 7 chakras into alignment with the rest of the subtle system. Thank you for joining us this evening. Sahaja Yoga meditation was taught by Shamaji Nirmala Devi, and you can read more about her on the WeMeditate.co's website. Also, if you want to learn more and go deeper, we're starting a free beginners course that has a structured thematic basis for 11 weeks, beginning on the 28th of this month. And you can find more information about that on Facebook at Sahaja Yoga Amsterdam. It'll be based by our Amsterdam branch. And this course, you'll just have to drop us an email at sahajayogacourse@gmail.com and we will sign you in. Now, this course is an excellent basis for anybody who's looking to establish themselves more into the technique of Sahaja Yoga, because in addition to the beginner's course, it progresses into 2 further stages, an intermediate and advanced. And I've seen people progress through each stage with beautiful developments and progressions of our understanding of the self. And I would love to see you there as well and talk to you face to face, because of course there's this small little gap between us now, but perhaps we can see in place over Zoom. Let's see. Now that's all from me tonight. Take care, and we will be seeing you again on Thursday or next week on Tuesday. Bye for now.